Welcome to Dig It, a real estate podcast by Hubble Realty Company.
Hey, good morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you're catching this version of our Dig It podcast. This is Pat Crosby, General Superintendent with Hubble Construction Services, and I'm here with
Chris McMullen. I'm a Senior Superintendent for HCS as well.
Alex Vasquez. I'm the owner of All Star Concrete.
And Bill Harger. I'm Senior Project Manager at All Star Concrete.
Well, today we're going to, I guess, elaborate on our trade relationship that Hubble Construction Services has with All Star Concrete. We've done an enormous amount of work together. Chris is just wrapping up a huge project he did with them, and he might elaborate a little bit on what they did for him out there.
Yeah, they All Star obviously has been a big trade partner with us for years. It's been fun to see you guys grow with us, and something that's interesting to me is just the equipment that it takes to do a big project, you know, your paving machine, laser screed, things like that. And from my perspective, what made you guys buy those, and how did you get trained to use that equipment? I mean, it's kind of a big step from probably where you started, essentially working out of a truck with a few guys and then growing your team and business essentially to be able to keep up with our needs. Can you tell me about what made you want to buy like a paving machine or your laser screed, and kind of how that training process worked with your guys? And
Good question.
Yeah. Well, I think the full intention and purpose of investing into modern equipment and technology is to ease the hard labor, ease the guys' backs out there pouring concrete, and it gives you a more precise and quality product too. It's just, I think it mitigates the human error, and we focus and depend strongly on the technology.
He forgot to tell you he likes toys too. So
Right.
Yeah.
the bigger the toys, the funner something.
Well, no, I mean, and Chris had a valid question. I see guys up there on top of the laser screed or on these paving machines, and I mean, there's iPads, and I mean, there's a lot going on.
yeah, it'd be a little overwhelming for me, never understanding or how it works. But you see, you know, sometimes those take 2 or 3 guys on those paving machines, cranking wheels and, you know, spinning knobs so that it works how it's supposed to. It just seems like a big training would need to happen prior to using that stuff, and it'd probably be a little overwhelming as a business owner to just kind of take that leap and spend that kind of money on a piece of equipment like that.
It is definitely a little nerve-wracking
I bet.
Yeah.
when you make these large investments, but we depend strong on our manufacturers. Most manufacturers that we're purchasing these equipment from, they send trainers and qualified trainers, and they'll spend a few days with us, and we follow up during the off season by sending operators and mechanics to classes and training sessions as well.
So you're doing a lot of your own maintenance on the equipment?
Yeah, we pretty much work in-house on all of our equipment. If it's a manufacturer warranty, the manufacturer will come down and take a look
Sure.
at the problem or solution. So.
I already have a question. Go figure, right? Which, by the way, loosen up, guys. Like, you're weirder than this, and I know it. I've seen it. Can you tell us how All Star got started? I mean, just like how you decided to become a business, and what team size you started at, and where you're at today. For people who may not know,
Yep.
These guys know you really well, obviously.
So it is a very unique story. I started All Star Concrete unplanned, just working alongside a local home builder. I was a concrete foreman for a company, and he approached me after the project and just said, "Hey, Alex, have you ever thought of doing this on your own?" He says, "You are really good at overseeing a crew, managing a project." And we're talking pouring concrete on a $2 million house back in 2013. So it was quite the project. He needed a more dependable concrete contractor than who he was hiring, which was my employer at the time. Honestly, I didn't have the savings. Again, it was unplanned. So he covered the cost of whether it was purchasing equipment or renting equipment, purchasing the material. paying me a weekly, check, and I was able to pull 4 guys to come with me. So it was 4 guys plus myself, a pickup, and a small 4x8 trailer. So
You've come a long way.
This was November 2013, and spring of I always say I started All Star Concrete for a couple months. Then the winter came. I worked for another employer doing some interior remodels for a couple months during that off season. So I've had one employer in between All Star Concrete. So, but then from the spring of 2014, honestly, it's been a blessing and a lot of hard work. And today we currently employ over 120 employees. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, you got some really good guys. I think in your business, you see a lot of turnover and people, going to the next guy for 25 cents more or whatever the case may be. So it's impressive that you can retain that many guys and keep them busy and coming back the next year. What do you think it takes to do that? I mean, what in your company culture keeps the guys coming back and enjoy working for All-Star?
Well, Alex is the number one thing. I mean, those guys love him. We all do. He's fun to work with. And it's a different environment, I think. I mean, obviously, I've had other jobs. I've only worked for Alex for 2.5 years now, I think. And I don't want to be anywhere else. It's a good culture. It's a good company. You can always find him and talk to him. I think the guys appreciate that.
I think it's commitment, on Alex's part. I mean, so let's talk about the market a little bit. Where do you guys think we're headed, with the market, the way the rates are right now, and everybody, I know like at Hubbell, we've got a lot of projects on the books, and with the market the way it is, equity's been a little bit harder to come by. How's you guys' future looking right now through this time?
It's definitely a different year. 2024 has been different. It's more challenging. The weather has made it even harder. We know the economy isn't the greatest currently, but we've also had a lot of rain here in central Iowa. So
about every other day.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it has been a struggle this year, just trying to operate and be productive. So
there's a lot less work. I mean, not as much as there has been in the past, so it's more competitive. It's definitely different, but we have really good people we work for. You guys have a lot of work still. There's other builders we work for that still have stuff to do.
Well, I think in general, Bill, like we're real fortunate here in Iowa. I mean, I know there's other states that they're not doing nearly as well. I mean, we have work, but not, the volume that we've had in years past. But there's states that are a lot worse off than us, and we're in a good place.
So we've been working pretty strong hand in hand with Hubbell for the last 4 years or so. But I would say as an owner, I have definitely had to put a sales hat on this year and been calling potential new customers or new customers now.
Sure.
We can call them, or following up with customers. So I've definitely had put a sales hat on this year. It's we want to sell our product and our company brand, and I think a lot of people have seen us, what we can do, see us out there. They say, "Well, we didn't know anything about you, but thanks for calling. We see your trucks everywhere." And a few weeks later, a month later, we get an invite to bid on a project. So that's all we ask for is an opportunity to bid. First we got to bid a project, and second we got to perform.
Yep.
So some of what's helped us out too is the paving machines and that we're a little more diverse than some of our competition. So we have, even though the opportunities are less per maybe commercial or something, we get opportunities across everything we do still. So
it's opened more doors for you than some of your competition have.
100%.
Yeah.
It can. When you can offer a one-stop shop, it does help sometimes.
Yep.
Well, and so what are some of those products? Because I feel like, so on the marketing side, I only come out and overlap with you guys, so often.
Right.
And so I love coming out when you're setting up like big precast panels or other, doing some of the work, like you said, with some of the new machinery, because it's just fun to take the drone out and fly it around and see what you're doing. But what are some of the products that people maybe see, but what are some that are also making a really big difference for our projects at Hubbell, or just how those have maybe changed through the years, I guess?
That's a good question, Claire. Well, I mean, we can all laugh because, we're talking footings, concrete, rebar, slabs, I just think in general, All-Star's become a lot more efficient at what they do, because like Alex said, he started small and we've seen them grow to what they are now. I mean, they have commitment, there's accountability out of them. I mean, if it's not a weather delay, I mean, when we communicate well on our side, or my field supers do, these guys perform well. Outside of weather, they make it happen. And I think that's what's created the relationship that we have today, because we can count on them.
Yeah, one thing I can appreciate is their initiative to make safety a priority,
Absolutely.
Alex, I think that's a big kudos to you. I think with us, we have a lot of issues there with a lot of our trade partners, and it really starts with the top and making it a priority within your company. So I appreciate that. It'd be nice to, maybe elaborate on that, on why you guys decided to make that safety more of a priority for your company and how you've done or gone about doing so.
Yeah. I would say it's because we care.
Yeah.
We care about customer relationships. We care about our employees. So, back to you guys saying, elaborate, we perform well. You can depend on us. Yes, we don't lie. We don't lie to our customers. We'd rather be honest and upfront. If we can't make it today, and we say we'll be there in 2 days, we'll usually be there in 2 days,
Right.
unless
Well,
there's a rain delay or something.
And the field they'd much rather hear, hey, I can't get there right now, I'll be there in 2 days, than we'll be there when we can get there, or we're coming today and then you don't show. So that's part of the integrity, honesty,
I think a lot of it is we understand the general contractor side and vision as well. I don't know if all trades really focus on that or just solely focus on what they perform and what they do. We want your project to keep going. If we're not on site, we want to tell you we're not going to be there, so you can keep advancing on the project.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a lot about communication to keep the projects moving, and it's communicating with the other trades, not just what we have going together. It's a big picture, and so we do appreciate that.
that's something we appreciate working with Hubbell, and we don't get that with every general contractor. So.
right?
Yeah, and we have project supervisors. Those guys, it's more than just trying to call one guy and find them. We have project teams that, you can call me, Eddie, whoever. It's
Well, we could even go to Alex if it comes to that.
Exactly.
You'll answer.
I'm involved. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, no, and to elaborate on your safety topic there, Chris, we're involved with Master Builders of Iowa. Obviously, HCS is, and I know All-Star is. Yeah. And I think the culture you've created, with safety is because you're leading it. When your team sees you, they have buy-in. And I think, like Chris said, it starts at the top.
Do you have any other business ventures other than All-Star Concrete?
Oh Lord. I do have a couple other business ventures. So
Can you elaborate on?
I would say thanks to the growth and success, I have been able to invest out in the market a little bit. Real estate projects mostly. Invest with Hubbell Construction Services as well.
Really?
So
Cool.
yeah. I would say I only focus on the concrete when it's my time really invested. All-Star Concrete is my baby. That's what feeds 120 families.
Absolutely.
So that's where my heart's at. That's what I dedicate my time to. The other ones, I would say, are investments and solely on success and looking to diversify a little bit. So
Hubbell knows a little bit about diversification and
Just a tad, right?
from all the
Right.
business lines and everything. I'm stealing the mic. I realize that people are going to see your mic swing off and on the screen, and it's just me stealing it. But I was wondering if you guys could kind of go around the table, and this is not the off the rails section, but I'm wondering like what got you started in the construction business? Clearly we kind of know, but Alex, I want you to start and elaborate on kind of that backstory. Because before All-Star, before, having that amazing opportunity, what got you started? Same for all of you at the table. Cause that's why you're here, where you're at.
So, I went straight to pouring concrete straight out of high school. So full transparency, I have no college education. I just was in the concrete trade when I was 18 years old. Worked at 4 or 5 different concrete companies all around central Iowa, and some commercial work, some highway paving, residential. So I've kind of, I did bounce, I'd say that I bounced around quite a bit, which is something I don't necessarily would like my employees to do because turnover sucks.
Yeah.
But I did it. It has helped me to run my business today because I know different aspects of the concrete industry. I know paving, I know commercial, I know residential. So I do say it's the greatest thing I did was jump around every 2 years. But
that was your education.
That was my education.
Right.
Yeah. Not a good resume, but it was the best picking up knowledge and helps me every day now. So
Looks like it paid off to me, buddy.
yeah.
Oh, my turn now. So I grew up in way western Nebraska, small town. Needed a job in high school, started framing houses and did that. Went to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, which is weird now that I'm in Iowa, I guess.
He's a smart one.
Got a degree in construction management and then went to work for a general contractor. Honestly, most of my experience was general contractor related. I did work for a previous concrete company, and the first general I worked for too, we self-performed concrete, so I kind of really like concrete work. So a few years ago, Alex reached out to me. I have a really good relationship with Grant, our estimator in the office. I'd worked with him before, and they talked me into coming back here, and it's been great.
Bill's loved that All-Star Concrete.
Right. I don't know if we have enough time for me.
I will say,
So,
I want to say one more thing.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes us very strong. Kudos to Bill and our team of project managers, estimators, and the field, because I know the trade. I didn't go to college. I'm not the smartest guy on the computer, but I depend a lot on our team and our project managers, and I know they depend on me to see envision the production sometimes. So we just piggyback off each other, and I think it's a great team because I know the trade really well, and they're really smart guys. So
Yeah, I think that plays into we're only as good as the people that we surround ourselves with, including me, Chris, you guys as trade partners, in business success. So how did I end up where I'm at today? This is, I'll try to make it short. I spent my summers framing when I was in high school, similar to Bill. I did go to college right out of high school in Northern California. I was on a pre-med path to be a doctor. Thought I was going to be a podiatrist. The more we got into the cutting people open part of it all, I was like, no, I'd rather cut lumber and drywall and things like that. So I pursued my general contractor's license in California. I obtained that when I was probably 22. Built some houses for a while and realized, as Alex probably does, that there's so much more to running a business than putting the house together, And so then I moved to Vegas, started running work for a big GC there, did a lot of medical facilities. My wife had a child, and she said I was a good place to raise a child, and here we are,
Yeah, I guess I've always kind of enjoyed the construction industry. I think what got me interested is when I was little, probably around 6, we moved out to a house, and my dad kind of jumped in and remodeled the whole thing from the kitchen, siding, windows, everything. And so I kind of started by helping him redo our house when I was young. And then once I got into high school, 14 years old, I worked for a guy that had a bunch of rental properties in my town. and we did anything and everything from re-roofing to tearing out plaster and lath, kind of redoing the properties, the grunt work type stuff. And then it just grew up in Northwest Iowa where I grew up. Essentially, most of those business owners did a little bit of everything, you know, from framing. So I guess my background was mainly carpentry, trim carpentry, but we did everything from pouring concrete to insulation, drywall. And that's a little different from that market, but it got me to enjoy the trades. I went to college for it, and that brought me to Hubbell. I started at Hubbell right out of college on the home side for about 6 years. Had my own company for about 3, doing general contracting on custom homes, and then came back to the commercial side, and I just enjoy it. I think it's a great trade to kind of constantly be learning new things. You know, there's always something new to be learned and grow, and so it never gets boring seeing the progress of the projects, and so it's been an enjoyable ride.
Well, I want to chime in because I've learned a lot from you guys on that front. And that's what, before coming to Hubbell, I didn't really think about real estate or development or construction as an industry that I thought I'd focus on. But my dad, speaking of carpentry, ran his own window grill company growing up. So like the smell of sawdust still to this day, I'm like, it is like gold to me. I loved going there as a kid, but he'd make me sweep the shop while he was doing all the window grill stuff. And then he, kind of in the same vein as you, Chris, helped build our house with my uncles. And that was cool to see because I just got to see that whole process as a kid in 3rd grade. And I love it. I like hearing, it doesn't matter if you went to college or not, right? I mean, that could be a whole nother topic if you wanted to talk skilled trades in the next generation. But it doesn't matter because, again, your experiences led you and gave you the opportunity to be where you are. So I think that's cool. Oh, thanks for sharing that. I liked that.
Next question, please. Oh, so, okay, I'll throw one out there. So are you happy where you're at now, you know, as a company in size, or do you think, you know, in the years to come, you want to expand anymore? Or do you think the machine you've got right now is like a good fit?
I would say I'm happy where we're at. As far as growth, I think we're happy where we're at. We realize we are a giant company here in Des Moines, Iowa. So it takes a lot of work to find and a lot of employees to run and manage. But we've been doing it about this size for a couple years now, since we talk about this paver. So we made an impact in this market. We bought a couple slip form pavers we can put down public streets now. So
now you may not want to answer this, but what kind of an investment was that? You know, I mean, because we could look it up on the internet, but it's a lot.
It's a lot.
I knew that's probably where we'd go.
Each toy is almost 7 digits. Yeah, so we've got several of those.
Well, it seems like you don't just buy the paver either. I mean, you've got like your, belt feeder. You've got like a dozer to make sure that you can have access to the concrete trucks. You've got probably a power washing trailer that cleans up the equipment. I mean, it's not just buying the paver either.
No,
it's all the ancillary equipment that comes along.
There's a lot more than just that.
You got to prepare the grade, trim it. It's quite the investment. It was quite the investment. Still is. We've paying some equipment off, obviously, but it's a whole nother branch of All Star Concrete. Essentially, we did need to hire another estimator to help us chase some of that paving
with that
work.
aspect alone.
Yep. And it's really spur and growth our revenue. Because we are bidding a lot of projects as a prime bidder / GC. Mostly with cities. A lot of city reconstruction projects or improvements. So that's what's brought the pavers to us.
Guys, we're almost at our time. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like,
Yeah,
I can
believe
believe it. Well, so I kind of alluded to this before we started recording, but the last segment of this podcast is called Off the Rails, and that's where I toss a randomly generated question your way.
Who randomly generated this, Claire?
The internet
Okay.
for me over here
All right.
while you guys were talking.
All right.
So the question, and who's starting?
Chris.
Chris is starting. Okay,
On the
great.
end.
Great. How do you like your eggs? How do you like your eggs cooked? And why? Because you can't just say scrambled next.
I think the only way to eat an egg is over easy. You can't beat a good runny yolk.
Well, I think I got you beat because my favorite is poached. If you poach an egg just right, you know, and you put that little bit of vinegar in the water to make it coagulate and hold together really well, I like that over a piece of like good homemade sourdough toast. Yeah, I bake bread too.
I'm opposite. Over hard. I just don't necessarily like the runny yolk all over the plate and mixes with everything on your plate. I like to taste my bacon separate from my eggs. So
what you're saying, Alex, is when you eat, you're going to eat one thing, keep them separate to the next, kind of you move around the plate.
no, yeah, you dab in here and there, but
You just don't mix.
not too much.
All right.
I'm going scrambled because I don't like runny and I don't like just the yolk. I don't know why. But
I knew that would actually get you guys to giggle and laugh a little bit.
Well, we're trying to be serious. We take our job seriously.
I know
here,
you do.
Claire.
I can tell. I'm an over medium gal. That's just me. I don't want it super runny. I like scrambled though. I'm with you. I don't want it everywhere all the time. And
On a
What?
little side note, Claire has chickens, and I got some of the eggs from her
I do have
ranch.
chickens.
And I'll
I
have
have a
my
ranch now.
Well, your property.
Sure.
And my wife made the comment, "Look at how yellow the yolks are on these eggs." You know.
Thank you, because they're like
Fresh.
a day old.
Yep,
Yeah.
fresh.
Yep, farm fresh. And we did a good barter session the other day. I gave him a dozen eggs. He gave me a mini loaf of sourdough, and all was right with the
Good
world.
trade.
All was right. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time. Is there anything else you want people to know about All Star, or you guys are work with All Star, anything like that?
I think we covered most of it. I mean, like I said, we appreciate them, their commitment, and their accountability, and we're successful because of people like these guys right here.
Vice versa. We really appreciate Hubble. Not just Pat and Chris. They have a great team.
yeah, and, same thing, but yeah, they're your guys' supervisors, your project managers. Everybody's great to work with. I know you guys have a lot of functions we attend, and I've gotten to know quite a few of your people a little bit more than just work too, which is always nice. So.
Yep.
That's the fun part of it all. Well, thanks everyone. You can catch Dig It wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Google, Spotify. You can also watch these guys go back and forth on our YouTube playlist, which they're all super thrilled about at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know if they want to do that.
It all depends how you want to get your podcast. So catch
Right.
Dig It, a real estate podcast by Hubble Realty Company. At any point, we record weekly. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.